Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Salas with the next episode of Salas Flips for Music. Today I'm recording from my cell phone because I have to be able to flip back and forth I have to flip back and forth on the video because I'm going to do some writing and I want you to follow along while I write. Today I wanted to talk to you about the notes in the bass clef. So I'm going to flip the video around and I'm going to keep talking while I actually show you on the music staff what I want you to do. Okay, what I did was I gave myself a staff. Remember, you have 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your bass clef. The bass clef signifies that all the notes are going to be in low pitches. Treble clef, which we already learned, demonstrates all the notes in the higher pitches. So what I want to do is I want to start off by showing you all of the notes that are what we call line notes. We have a note here, 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 and there. Okay. So these are what we call note heads. They're the circle part of the music note. And we can put them on lines or we can put them on spaces. So these ones are on lines, and there's what we call a line poem for the line notes. And that line poem is good boys deserve fudge always, which we know isn't always true, but deal with it. Okay, so G, B, D, F, A. Good boys do fine always. Then we have what we call space notes, and those go right on the spaces in between those lines. So we have one here, one here, one here, and one here. And the space note poem would be A for all cows eat grass. All cows eat grass. And so for those space notes, it would be A, C, E, G. All cows eat grass. And when I put them together and I alternate back and forth between line and space, line, space, you'll find that when we start in the basement, you know, I like to say start in the basement and then work your way up to the attic, start down low, work your way up high, you'll find that everything is in alphabetical order. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we recycle and go back to A. Remember, in music, our musical alphabet starts on A, goes through the alphabet, and ends on G. And then we have to, hopefully you remember what I call it, we have to recycle through, we have to recycle back on through and go back to the beginning and hit them up again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that is demonstrated in our notes down here, G, and then we recycle back to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then again back to A. Now, you'll find that this is different than the treble clef because in the treble clef on this line, it would actually be a G. This line would be a B, and this would be a D, and so on. So make sure that you always check the clef at the very beginning. The clef will kind of give you the answer as to what all of these notes are going to be. If it's treble clef, you're going to follow the treble clef line and space poem, which we've been learning since you guys were in 3rd grade. But this one that we're just starting now gives you a whole new set of line and space poems. Remember, good boys deserve fudge always for the lines, and all cows eat grass for the space. Now, another way that you can figure it out is by doing what I call the home base. I'm going to write that down. Home base. This is the home bass technique. Now remember, in treble clef we also call it the G clef because that treble clef circles around the G line. But if you take a look at the bass clef, we call it the F clef. Somebody said, because it looks like an F in one of my other classes. But not necessarily. I mean, I guess kind of, sort of. But if you look closer, there's a dot. And then there's two dots above and below this line here. This dot that focuses right on this line, and these two dots are stressing that line, and that line is the F line. So in addition to calling it the bass clef, we can also call it the F clef. So what we do is we call F our home bass in the bass clef. In the treble clef, what is home bass? G. Hopefully you said G. The G line is the home bass in the treble clef. In the F clef, or the bass clef, the F line is home bass. To do the home bass technique, all you need to know is that F line, because we know that when we go upward, we're going in ABC order. When we go downward, we're going backwards in the alphabet. So what I tell kids to do is find the home bass, and then if I put a note here, I'll say, okay, count backwards from home bass. What comes before F? E. What comes before E? D. What comes before D? C. And so this note is down from F and it is C. That's how I use the home bass technique. Start here and count backwards on your way down. Let's say you want to know the A note. We know that we're on a line. You can use the line or the space poems, or you can use home bass, F, G, A, by going in ABC order, alphabetical order, as we go upwards on the staff. If you alternate lines in space, it's just in regular ABC order. If you're going to be skipping around, then you might want to use the line in the space poem in isolation. But those are two tricks to do some note naming. Maybe you can come up with one or two on your own. If you do have any tips or tricks to come up with note naming on the bass clef staff, drop me a line in the message board and share it with the rest of the group so that they can learn some of your tips and tricks as well. So those are how to name notes on the bass clef, but we haven't talked too much about the notes on the keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over, I'm going to show you the notes on the keyboard and how they pertain to what I just showed you on the staff. Okay, so I'm at the keyboard and I'm on pages 18 and 19 in the piano book. 18 and 19. And on page 18, it focuses on LH, and we know that from last class being left hand. Happy melody on page 19 is your right hand, but we're not going to focus on that just yet. We're going to talk about the left hand, and if you take a look at your diagram, A, B, and C are the fingers that we're going to be using. A is in between the triplets, B is kind of on its own, and C happens right before you get to the set of twins. And remember, by triplets and twins, I mean triplets is the set of 3 black keys, and twins are the set of 2 black keys. So on the keyboard, let's find A, B, and C. So we have our 3 black keys, and then our 2 black keys. So we're going to go over to the keys. C, this is middle C, by the way, and then B, and then A. And then on your hand, you're going to use fingers number 1, 2, and 3. So we have C, B, and then A. And then if I look at the music, I have quarter, quarter, half, quarter, quarter, half, quarter, 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 half. A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, B, C, B, A. And then also, take a look at those numbers. What do you think those numbers mean? Hopefully you said the finger numbers. If you said the finger numbers, you're correct. So here's a mellow melody. Just listen. And I held those half notes a little bit longer than the quarter notes because they're held for 2 counts. Take a look at my fingers as I play it. Notice that I have my hand nice and curved, like I'm holding a ball or a bubble. And I'm using fingers 3, 2, and 1. And here I go. 1, 2, here I go. notice that there's a repeat sign. So I'm going to play it again. 1, 2, here I go. And that is mellow melody. I'm going to play happy melody quickly for you. We've already done notes in the treble clef, so this should be pretty easy for you guys. Happy melody is also starting on middle C. We're using figures 1, 2, and 3 again, but this time we're using C, D, and E. So here I go. 1, 2, here I go. Repeat. So those are the 2 pages. Excuse me. Those are the 2 pages, Mellow Melody and Happy Melody, that you're going to be quizzed on this week. You're going to need to know all the notes in the left hand, the A, B, and C. And you're going to need to know the C, D, and E in the right hand as well. Now notice the notes that we talked about on the staff are not actually featured on the staff just yet. You see that the notes are kind of just floating. And notice that the notes in the left hand have the stems going down, and the notes in the right hand have the stems going up. We're going to be putting the notes on the staff in a couple of pages. I want you to take a look. Doesn't happen for a while, but on page 31 it does. So they start telling you about all of the line notes and then all the space notes and what they look like, and they show you a little diagram. The difference between a line note and a space note is the way it looks with the kid's glasses, and he uses a piece of string. So it's kind of babyish, but it helps you know the difference between what a line note looks like and what a space note looks like. So when we get to page 31, that's when we start putting the notes on the staff. But I wanted you to be able to read the notes in the bass clef staff prior to getting to page 31, because by the time you get to this page, it's going to be so simple for you. So we're going to do a lot of reinforcement of notes on the bass clef staff before we actually start looking at the staff when it comes to playing the notes on the keyboard. So again, make sure that you have pages 18 and 19 fully learned. You don't have to have it memorized, but we do have a piano checkpoint quiz at the end of this week, so make sure you know both of those songs. I'm not looking for super fast, as steady as possible though, and I'm looking for accuracy. So I'm looking for note accuracy as well as rhythm accuracy. Practice at home. Use virtualpiano.net to assist you if you don't have a piano or a keyboard. And if you have any questions, as always, send me an email at ksalas@depew.winnyrick.org, or you can drop me a line right on my website on the message boards. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.